She maxed out her husband's secondary card and said that she did that to pay off the gambling debt for me. When she was pregnant, she had an affair with her husband's younger brother, resulting in a hemorrhage. She said that I was fooling around with riffraff. She kindly tried to dissuade me, but I pushed her down and caused her to miscarry. In the end, her husband sent me to the north of Burma to atone for my sins. I was humiliated to death by her lover. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of her miscarriage. Every time Jane went on a date with her lover, she would tell her husband that she was with me. If George hadn't come to me in my previous life and scolded me for my crimes, I wouldn't know that I had experienced so much. At that moment, George's phone kept ringing. As soon as I picked up the phone, George's angry voice exploded in my ear. Nico, it's so late. Why did you keep Jane with you? I've tolerated you for a long time. Can you stop being so dependent? Do you think the whole world will serve you alone? Jane is married, and she is still pregnant. Can you stop relying on her? Don't you know how annoying you are? Are you holding a grudge because I dumped you? Jane is very ingenuous. If you use her again, don't blame me for being rude to you. Hurry up and send her back. George scolded me loudly in a bad temper. Thinking back to George's revenge in my past life and Jane and her lover's means of silencing me, I couldn't help but feel a surge of anger. George, I would tear your family apart with your own hands today. I sneered and answered happily. Jane said that she was playing poker and didn't want to go back. Why don't you come and pick her up? We're at the same hotel we always stay at. After saying that, I hung up the phone and turned it off. I didn't want to waste any more time talking to George. But soon, there was a knock on the door. When I opened the door, I was knocked back by a huge force outside the door. Before I could react, several bodyguards suddenly held me down. As for George, he walked into my house with heavy steps and looked for Jane roughly. He turned the whole room upside down, but he didn't find anything. Where is Jane? Why did you say she was playing poker at the hotel? I've been standing downstairs for a long time, and the lights in your house have been on. You haven't gone out at night. He rushed in front of me with a red face and roared. Looking at his angry face, I felt the pleasure of revenge. I raised my eyebrows and said unhurriedly, I said she was playing poker, but I didn't say she was playing poker with me. Maybe she's playing poker with your brother. Why don't you ask her? Cold light flashed in his eyes as he grabbed my hair. He said in a deep voice, don't talk nonsense. I'll ask you one last time. Where did you hide Jane? Jane's whereabouts had always been confidential. I was just her scapegoat. How could I know where she was? She's an adult with hands and feet, I said bluntly. How can I control where she goes? I'm not her mother. Not hearing the answer he wanted, George suddenly turned vicious. He let go of my hair and slapped me hard in the face, making my head buzz. I was burning with anger, but at the same time, I was looking forward to it. Was he angry just because of that? I was waiting for you to get even angrier. Seeing the stubbornness in my eyes, George patted my face rhythmically and said, do you think I can't do anything to you? As he spoke, he took out my cell phone from my pocket, turned it on, scanned the lock, and then looked for my contact information. Seeing my emergency contact, he sneered. He dialed a number. What's wrong, Nico? On the other end of the line came the gentle voice of Felix Johnny, my fiancé. Just as I was about to speak, one of the bodyguards covered my mouth tightly, preventing me from making a sound. You're Nico's fiancé, aren't you? George spoke coldly with a hint of disdain in his tone. Who are you? Felix sounded obviously nervous. George faced me directly and said provocatively, I'm her ex-boyfriend. But don't worry, I'm married now and I'm not interested in her. Felix was silent for 2 seconds before he asked, then why did you call me? Nothing serious. I just want to tell you something about your fiancé. Her private life was very messy. She often dated another man behind my back. I thought it was dirty, so I broke up with her. I know you're engaged, but let me give you a piece of advice. Nico is not a simple woman. For so many years she has been relying on my wife to live. She forced my wife to sell the jewelry to buy a birthday gift for her. She was also addicted to gambling, and asked my wife to use my secondary card to pay off her debt. Oh, maybe you don't know yet. Some time ago she had an abortion in the hospital, and asked my wife to stay with her. I guess it was not your child? Aren't you afraid of getting sick with such a dirty woman? George's words were full of sarcasm and contempt for me. On the other end of the line, Felix fell silent for a long time. My relationship with Felix had always been very good, and we were preparing for the wedding. He was upright and kind, and he treated me gently and considerately. Since we fell in love, no matter how much we quarreled, he would always coax me patiently and gently reason with me. But this time, he seemed to be so angry with George's words that he didn't want to say another word. George hung up the phone and looked at me smugly. How is it? Are you still unwilling to tell me where Jane is? The bodyguard loosened his grip on my mouth. It's illegal to spread rumors. I glared at George, wishing I could tear this idiot to pieces. Seeing that I was still stubborn, George became angrier. Illegal? Then I'll let you know what the law is. He gave an order to the other bodyguards. Smash her house. Upon hearing that, the bodyguards immediately began to smash my house crazily. In just a few minutes, the clean and tidy room was turned into ruins. There was no complete thing at all. Gritting my teeth, I asked, George, aren't you afraid of the law? If you continue to be so lawless, everything in your family was bought with Jane's money. What's wrong with me smashing my own things? George spoke self-righteously. It was as if he were not committing a crime, but punishing someone who deserved it. I looked at the time and found that there was less than half an hour left before Jane's miscarriage. Soon the show was about to begin. I looked at George and said playfully, should we wait a little longer? Your wife will contact you soon. Seeing that I still didn't care, George said angrily, why are you so stubborn? I'll ruin your reputation today. Take her away. Several bodyguards immediately dragged me to the gate of the community. This scene soon attracted the attention of the passers-by nearby. Seeing that there were more and more people watching, George deliberately publicized my crime in public. All of a sudden, everyone around me began to point fingers at me. That's too much. Her friend is married and pregnant, but she's still relying on her like this. She's obviously harming her. She's a typical fake friend. Everyone cursed me and thought that I was a heinous person. George looked at me disdainfully and taunted. What do you think? Do you still want to be stubborn? George thought that he had beaten me and was waiting for me to give in. I sneered and said disdainfully, is that all you've got? What's the point of cursing at such a small community? When the time comes, I'll move and nobody will remember me. I think you should call some online celebrities to do a live broadcast for me. Only in this way can you ruin my fame. George's face darkened. Gritting his teeth, he said, fine, I'll satisfy you. After that, he made another phone call. I was looking forward to it even more. That was great. He'd better let the whole world know about the scandal of his family. George had some appeal. It didn't take long for a group of online celebrities to arrive at the scene. They all held up their mobile phones to do live streaming. Guys, I've just heard a big news. It's the woman you're looking at now. Although she looks looks simple, she's rotten inside. For so many years she made a living by relying on her best friend. When she had no money, she asked her best friend for it. Her best friend was pregnant and was ordered around by her every day as a servant. She ran errands for her every day, went shopping with her, and even picked her up when she was drunk. Her best friend was so good to her. Not only was she not grateful, but she also bought many things every day and asked her best friend to pay the bill. After spending her best friend's money, she forced her to sell the jewelry. She even maxed out the secondary card of her best friend's husband to pay off her gambling debt. The most important thing is that her private life is in a mess. She already has a fiancé, but she still messes around every day. I heard that she had a venereal disease. She didn't know who the father of the child was when she was pregnant, so she went straight to the hospital to have an abortion. She doesn't dare to tell her fiancé, so her best friend went to take care of her in bed with a big belly. The streamers vividly put all the groundless accusations on me. They made up a story and exaggerated it. All of a sudden, all the major live streaming rooms were full of abuse against me. Damn, her best friend and fiancé are so miserable to have such a shameless bitch. I'm so angry. How can there be such a disgusting person in the world? That's right, this kind of person doesn't deserve to live in this world. Public opinion spread very fast, and my photos instantly became a trending topic on the internet. Vampire woman, poisonous bestie, selfish ghost, and all sorts of other labels had become my tags. As the group of streamers added fuel to the fire, the onlookers were stirred up. They couldn't help throwing eggs and rotten vegetables at me. Those who were eating nearby even threw their beer bottles at me. I was like a criminal waiting to be executed. I stood in a pile of garbage and was abused. At this time, Felix suddenly walked toward me from the crowd. Looking at that familiar face, I suddenly felt sad. To me, Felix was my strongest backing. He loved me and trusted me. No matter what grievances I suffered outside, he would always stroke my hair gently and comfort me patiently. I trusted him and treated him as a haven. At that moment, I really needed him. As soon as I saw him, I let down my guard and threw myself into his arms. However, as soon as I touched him, he pushed me away mercilessly. Caught off guard, I lost my balance and fell backward. The wine bottles were scattered all over the ground, deeply embedded in my palm and thigh. The sharp pain invaded my brain, but my heart seemed to have been stabbed deeper and more painful. Even Felix didn't believe me. Nico, I really didn't expect you to be such a person, Felix said with red eyes full of disappointment. All these years, I've treated you like a treasure, and I've agreed to all your requests. I've never lost my temper at you, nor have I made you suffer in the slightest. You have a weak stomach, so I make a stomach-nourishing recipe, and try my best to nurse your body. I took good care of you. And you? How dare you rely on your friend behind my back, humiliate yourself and do so many disgusting things. Nico, do you feel sorry for me? It was the first time that Felix, who had always been gentle, had lost control. His voice was hoarse, and his words were full of extreme disappointment in me. Seeing him like this, I felt more and more uncomfortable. I endured the pain and got up to explain to him. Felix, Before I could finish my words, Felix shouted angrily, "Shut up, don't call me by my name, you don't deserve it." As he spoke, he threw the engagement ring on my face. From now on, we're done. Felix's words hurt me deeply. George took the opportunity to mock me. Nico, do you know how it feels to lose your reputation now? A greedy and evil woman like you doesn't deserve the love of others at all, let alone Jane who treats you so well. Fortunately, I've already seen through you and distanced myself from you.